What's up, guys? We're back with the tier list, the aura tier list. I've made a couple of new additions, and I'd like to start at the ones at the sides once again. So if we start all the way on the left bottom, we see Donphan, and a little bit higher Milk Tank. Donphan is a special case because it's viable sometimes, so it's not as low as, for example, Lantern. But the only way it is viable, I think anyway, or I have seen it, is like a sleeper that gets that gets cured by like Aroma or Heal Bell, and I think those teams are just ridiculously slow and they can take forever to beat, even if the person that's playing them isn't that good. So that's why I have it. It's at this point it's almost the lowest aura mon, and and that's next to, but it's very close to the other very low aura mons like Espeon. Close to it is Milk Tank, again because like it's not that good, and it just slows down the game, and um it also comes with Heal Bell. So one of the only reasons that you'd like to bring it is to cure status and stuff, which isn't per se a bad thing, but like it does slow down the game a little bit. And um well, so that's why I put it there. It just slows the game down. It's slow. It doesn't it's not that good, so it doesn't um like oftentimes it just fills at what it does. So I'm not very happy when I see it come in. Also when I'm casting, because I know the game is just going to be a bit slow. Even though it's kind of fun to see something different once in a while. Um, if we move on to the next one, if we go far to the top right, you're going to see Blissey. And you might think, well, Blissey also slows the game down. And I think that's true. But I don't think every wall is bad. I don't think every slow game is bad. I think Blissey, and I'll explain it in strategy and momentum. Like, I think Blissey adds a lot of strategy because as soon as you see it, you know it's going to be tough to break it down, but it's also going to be very rewarding. Like, you can dish out like your strongest attacks at it, and it's either going to eat it or it's going to take it well, but take a lot of damage. Like, it's mostly on top of that, it's mostly a special wall. So if you do manage to get a physical attack on it, it's just very satisfying. Like, it can still take a rock slide, like it'll take like 80% or 70%, but that's just very rewarding. I think it's in the same way as Skarmory. It's a wall that isn't like entirely unfair. Like, it is breakable, even if teams have to be prepared for it. But I do think it is breakable, and I think it's very fun to break, because it is only special. Um, the way it creates momentum, like, yes, you could say it slows the game down a bit, but I think that like the fun game of breaking it, like, kind of adds another layer to the game. Like, it adds another goal, which is to break Blissey, and it adds the fun of, for example, dug traps, and it definitely adds another goal for like more specially oriented teams. So in that way, it sets up its own goal, and with that, you get a lot of momentum to the goal. But I think something like that is like spikes. Um, like, it just creates games like the rapid spin game, like uh, like bringing in the ghost for the rapid spin, but also like choosing when to come in. And with Blissey, it creates the game of killing Blissey basically, and when you do, you'll be heavily rewarded for it. So I just think that's very fun, um, and that's why I put it on the very high aura. Is it does it create momentum? Maybe not, in the traditional sense, but I do think it adds a very fun element to the game. Um, if we go down a bit to the far right, we see Heracross. It's a little bit in the middle. I think it's like a mini arrow. Like it gets a lot. It requires a bit of luck to pull it off. Like either it needs to get a good sword stance off, or it needs to hit multiple mega horns, or it needs to get past something good and not get statused. But I also think it adds like a bit of fun of like is it swarm, is it guts, like getting it in on the guts, getting it into swarm range. um so with that, I think it's a bit more fun than arrow. Forgive me for doing this now, but I'm gonna put it a little bit higher. Like it's just a little bit more fun than arrow. It can be a bit predictable. Like it comes in, you kind of know what it's gonna do. Like either it swords dance or it doesn't, and it just mega horns after. But I think it's a bit more fun because it's a little bit more varied than arrow, and of course it does create a lot of momentum. Once you've seen it come in once, like you're always wondering when it's gonna come in. So it just creates excitement as well as momentum. If we go to the other side, on the top left, a little bit in the middle, there's Snorlax, and he's next to Suicune. And well, the reason for that is they're both bulky setup generally. Like they both can take a hit, but they can also set up, and like that being able to be a wall. But I like Suicune is probably more reliable at this than Snorlax because it is just a special wall. I think slows the game down a little bit, but I don't think they're as fun to break as Blissey. Like I feel like they're more of a chore, just because most teams aren't like built for it. Suicune can just be very hard because it just starts to call mind up, and like when it does that, like good chance your Thunderbolt and your HP Grass isn't going to cut it anymore. And good chance you're effed. And then you're going to be playing the Calm Mind game, and it takes forever. And I don't think it's very fun. It's predictable. It can stall forever. It can turn into PP stall. So despite it being very good, and despite being like a constant threat, like I think it's more like good in like a horror way. Like horror movies are good, but only once in a while. Like I don't want to watch horror movies every day. And Suicune coming in on every game and trying up to Calm Mind, that's a horror movie. Snorlax is a bit different in like I think Body Slam is like I don't want to say it's broken per se, but I do think it slows the game down a lot, and I think it does add a bit of luck to it as well. Like I think they're both still strategy mons because um well they're good, like, and they can be a core part of a team, and they can be a core part of a strategy. They can be real win conditions, so I do think they require a bit of strategy, but I also think they're a bit slow. And well, Body Slam, it's like it just adds that bit of luck. Like a paralysis is really strong, and it can really change the course of a game, and that's all down to luck. And Snorlax isn't usually gonna get that many Body Slams off, so it really does add luck strategy, despite it also being good enough to be a win condition, so it also a bit strategy. But both of them definitely take momentum because they can take a lot of hits, and I don't think they're fun to break. Just because you're not always prepared for it. And if you don't break it fast, you're gonna get punished, specifically with the body slam and with the calm mind. So that's why I put them on the lower aura side. What I'm going to call it for this video, it seems to be getting like decent views, so I'm probably gonna keep going as long as that continues. I think it's fun to do. I like that it's something that like I can show the expertise kind of that I've built so far casting. So it's not just showing other people's stuff, it's kind of like showing my knowledge. So I like that a lot. Yeah.